Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to get into my weekly check-in, see how much I spent so I know what to pay on my credit card. We use a credit card for all our spending and then pay it off every week. Some of my bills go on there as well, so I make sure I pay that and out of the checking account. And I'm really excited because tomorrow's payday. So we get to pay off the credit card and then start fresh for a whole new week. I don't use my credit card to buy now, pay later. I use my credit card with this actual cash I have in my checking account and just transfer that money once a week. And that way it keeps my credit score moving and going in the right direction, and it also keeps my bank account active and all those kinds of things. So that is how I do my weekly check-in. You're going to see all the numbers. We have here the setup from the previous week, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys in so you can see the numbers for the budget. There we go. So I'm zoomed all the way in, and this is the budgeted for the week. $466.95 was grocery household, $92.16 was restaurants, miscellaneous was $180.67, and gasoline was $95.12. So going forward in the month of February, you will see a change in my weekly check-in if you watch them regularly. I'm not going to include gasoline. It's not a category I worry about overspending. I'm pretty much a homebody, so if I'm spending in gas, it's because it was a necessity, and I'm not too worried about it. So I don't want to track that, but I do want to track the unbudgeted because I really need to keep that number really low this year. This year I'm not keeping a large buffer in the checking account. I tend to spend more when I have a large cash reserve in the checking account, but I spend less if I know a lot of the money is in savings. So because I don't like transferring from my savings into my credit card to pay off what I've spent. So that is why I want to be very careful with the unbudgeted so I don't spend out of the buffer of the checking account. And every month I am starting fresh. I zero out what income came in January and putting that into savings, and then just start with February at the very beginning. So, and that will be February's money, and then hopefully I'll save some at the end, and that is the goal. So weekly check-in, let's go ahead and go to my calendar. We have had a low spend month. I'm very proud of us and very excited that it's been a low spend month, and we have had some unbudgeted items. I switched chiropractic places. Not doctors, but the doctor I was seeing, he owns a walk-in clinic, but he also has a practice. And there's a difference between the two. One is more of a full service. One's just adjustment for better health, chiropractic, and the other one you can get like x-rays, and there's other equipment and machines to help get you back into what you need to take care of yourself. And if insurance does cover it, or if you're recommended, like my husband can request this particular doctor through the VA, and the VA can cover some of his sessions. That is what we're trying to do for him, and I wanted some of the other services that he has there. So I did have some unbudgeted, and then I spent some on Amazon here. Yeah, that's my dealer right there. That's kind of, I just want something and I want it now, and then boom, I got it, and I'm like, oh, I just messed with the budget. So you're going to see that in Paycheck 2 coming up, or Paycheck 2 closeout, Paycheck 3 setup for tomorrow in my next video, in my Paycheck video. So if you want to see that and how much, if any, is left over from Paycheck 2, which I don't think there is, check that out tomorrow. So I have all of this. Let's zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. And I already wrote down all the different categories for week 4. I haven't done the total yet, but I do have it written down here on this piece of paper. So here I have my grocery household, restaurants, miscellaneous, and gasoline. I also track copay and unbudgeted just to know what it is, but these are the 4 that we're going to transfer the actual amounts onto the weekly check-in. Next month I'm going to drop gas and just put unbudgeted because I need to pay attention to that. And I have the wrong number on here. Ignore that. It took me a long time to figure out what where I kind of messed up earlier today. Pre-planning for this budget, so just ignore that. All right, here we go. Grocery household, the first one I have is over here with Walmart pickup and Amazon. So my husband has some stuff from Amazon. It's called IV hydration or something, liquid IV. He uses that pretty much every day. What it does is it helps with migraines. I don't know why it helps his migraines, but apparently his brain needed more hydration, and this helps boost that. And so this is good for him, and if it can curb his migraines, then that's even better. And then I had a Walmart pickup grocery. There was a specific item, it was those orange juice boxes. They come in a package of 6 Tropicana orange juice boxes. My son loves those. He prefers those over getting the big jar because he pours too much. And this is kind of a way of portion control. So he always asks for those. And my Meijer grocery doesn't carry it. So I do a Walmart pickup whenever he's running low on his grocery or on his orange juice, and I pick it up from Walmart. And then I went back and got some more groceries here at the Meijer grocery store that's closer to my home, and that is grocery household. Now restaurants, we had let's see, we had here Papa John's, which would, or let's start, where do I need to start? $35.59 or $53.59 Papa John's, and then $58.19, which was Buffalo Wild Wings date night, and then pizza night for the family. I at some point missed this transaction. I don't know. It might have been on the 19th, last minute after I decided to do a no spend, that Chick-fil-A happened, and I forgot about it. Hence why I had numbers all over the place and messed up earlier, but now I gotta pay attention because I'm not sure if that's the right number. Let's see. It's 61. Okay, so I can close that out. All right, thank goodness for online banking, checking these transactions real easily. Let's see here. I just wrote the wrong number down. There you go. So $38.61. I did write it correctly here. Glad I caught that. So there's that, and there's that. Okay. Miscellaneous. I did my husband's chiropractic under that until next month once I know the actual numbers for him and me every Friday. That's when we plan on going. It's $25 a visit. So there we go. And then I bought... what did I buy over here? That was $45.57. Either I bought something or my husband bought something. There's some Amazon transactions. Part of it was groceries. Part of it was, let's see if I wrote it down. And see, the liquid IV is the $49.47. That's liquid IV, and then visor and oven and toaster. Okay, so this $45.57 over here is the toaster. I bought a toaster oven on Amazon. The toaster I have was dying, and I've had it for quite a while, and I wanted a new toaster, and I got one of those little toaster ovens with the door, and and you lay everything flat and you can see, but you can fix so many different things in it. Just something that was really versatile that I can use with my family, so I thought that was pretty cool. And then my husband needed a new visor in his Jeep, so Amazon actually had one, and he just bought it on Amazon. This is an unbudgeted item. Let's see, did I get through all the other stuff? Yeah. So this unbudgeted item, $105.98. And then my chiropractic stuff, this was a membership for the year and for cash savers, and then so I get a discount and get that money back basically through the discount plus some. And then this was the first initial head to toe, okay, let's check you out and see what you need for chiropractic and what he offers. So I paid for that. And then that's that and that. I got that Amazon there. And now, let's see, we got gas for $33.53. And then there's copay. Just forgot to check that off. Oops, not even on screen. Sorry. And then we have copay here for $24 and $14. So that was for a doctor's appointment for one, and then medication for another for my son. So I do have all of that. And let's go ahead and total this up. So I'm going to grab my calculator here. And once I total this up, this will be the numbers I use for my weekly check-in. So $49.79 plus $84.65 plus $147.73. This was $282.17. Sure, that's on there. Okay, so let's do this one here. We'll just go across. 24 plus 14 is 38. All right, and then 53.59 plus 58.19 plus 38.61, and that gives us 150.39. There we go. And then I have 49 plus 95 plus 105.98. There we go. And I'm going to move this out so I can write this number down. All right, 249.98. And then I have miscellaneous 25 plus 45.57. So I have about 13 transactions here, if I counted correctly, maybe 14, which is pretty good for us. It's a low spend month. As you can see, there's a lot of white space on my calendar here, which is not typical for months from October, I think, all the way through December and New Year's. So when January hit, I really wanted a low spend month. And I try to do my no spends on Thursdays when I'm doing my weekly check-ins with you guys. So, and today is a no spend day. I'm not going shopping or anything like that. As long as I stay off of Amazon, I should be good. So let's go ahead and go back to the weekly check-in and put these numbers in. Now I do know I will be over in one category. So let's see which one that is. I think we can already figure that one out though. 282.17. Restaurants, 150.39. 70.57, and then 33.53. Now I track copay because I'm new to having copays, but I'm starting to get the hang of it. I don't know if I'm going to continue, definitely not on the weekly check-in, but I'll probably continue as far as copays as a category in my monthly spending, but I might not track it on the calendar. But then again, I might. I don't know. I haven't quite decided yet, which is a great thing about budgeting. You can track everything, or as little or as much as you want, whatever you need to make sure you understand your budget and what you're doing. So that's going to be important. Unbudgeted, $249.98. I did this knowing I would go over budget for my paycheck period. That's why it went on the calendar, or that's why it went on the credit card. So if I need to pay part of this in the next month, I could, which I will be doing, and I'll tell you about that in Paycheck 2, closeout, and Paycheck 3 setup in my next video. So let's figure out these totals over here and find out how much of a budget we have left over. I think I got it. All right, so I have $466.95 minus the $282.17. There we go. That gave us $184.78 left over, which can roll into week 5. 92.16 minus 150.39. Here's where I went over budget, and I went over budget by quite a bit. We were sick for a while. We had COVID, and there was a few days we just DoorDashed and had food delivered, or I was too weak or anything to do anything, even though I wasn't sick anymore as far as exposure to anybody like that, but I still was tired and weak after trying to recover from COVID. So there were more spending on restaurants than I expected. So we'll see how that washes out in the end, but we'll definitely be able to take care of it by the end of the month. Let's see here. 180.67 minus the $70.57 that we spent. It gives me 110.10. Oh, that's interesting. All right, 95.12 minus 33.53. All right, so that gives us $61 left. I haven't been driving much, so I have a full tank of gas pretty much. My husband just filled up. He may need to fill up this weekend after going back and forth to work all week. So there's still plenty of money for gas, and I can still add $50, so that's pretty good. So I always divide by 5 weeks and give myself that time period. You decide what works for you, but because my husband gets paid on the 1st of every month, and I'll show you on this calendar here and zoom out a little bit. So on this calendar you can see you have the 1st, and then the 31st is here. I always start our budget on the 1st, and I always end it on the last day of the month. That works for me because I know on the 1st of the next month there is going to be income coming in, and then I start all over again. Where most people don't get that privilege because they only get paid like every other Friday, so some of one month covers the next month as far as spending or bills and things like that, which is perfectly fine. It's just ours falls a little bit different because of certain pays that come to my husband. So because of that, I always do 5 weeks. So if they're 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks is enough for everybody when they're doing their weekly check-in, but I still have 3 days here. I can move it to the next month and just apply all that, and I've done that before, but I just might as well end it at the end of the month and keep all the money spent in one time period. So I give myself 5 weeks, and so I divide everything by 5. And so let's go back to the weekly check-in. And when I when I give myself a number of how much for groceries for the month, and I divide by 5, that's where I get these totals as far as how much to budget per week. And this is what I budgeted per week for all 5 weeks. And I give myself a pretty high budget right now. Next month, I am dropping my grocery budget from $1,600 to $1,300, which is a significant drop, but I think we've kind of gotten into the place where we might be doing a little better paying attention to how and what we're spending. So I'm ready to do that. This week I just kept it at the $1,600, and whatever was left over I was going to save. So $320 is what I give myself for the week. 5, let's kind of get everything back on screen. And I still had $184.78. So that's $500. Now this is going to compensate for some of the some of the eating out that we'll probably do for towards the end of this month, this weekend coming up, and that's going to take care of that. Right now, I'm only giving myself $100 for eating out, and that's not going to be enough for this weekend. So I have $100, minus the $58.23, and that only leaves me $41. So grocery household will cover some of the overage, and we will be over in restaurants for the month, which has been the theme for a while now. So that tells me either I don't have my eating out budget high enough, or I'm eating out too much or spending too much on eating out. There's a difference between eating out, let's say Buffalo Wild Wings and DoorDash, and Buffalo Wild Wings when me and my husband are there. We tip generously when we can, And so when we go out to eat, we try to tip as generous as we can. And then as far as like, you know, Papa John's, we probably spend more than we should, but we just don't want to drive all the way across town to pick up pizza and bring it home, especially living out in the country a little bit. So that's why we do DoorDash for those two things. And some days we just don't want to be out, and we were sick, so we shouldn't be out. So we had them delivered to the door and masked up and made sure that they were safe and we were safe. So 110 plus miscellaneous, which is 110. Plenty for the rest of this time period. And some of this can compensate for the unbudgeted items that I did this past week. As long as I don't spend any more, the unbudgeted should be covered with the leftover money here. Gas, I have $61.59, and then $50 is what I planned. And so that's $111.59. All right, sloppy handwriting. So that's the numbers I'm working with this week. I have 504.78 plus 41.77 plus 220.10 plus 111.59. So that's $878 for all my spending categories for the last 5 or 6 days of the month. And that will definitely be plenty to get us to the end of the month, but I'm hoping not to spend that much, so you'll have to wait and see on my end of the month video to see how the transition from January to February went, and if I spent over $870 or if I was staying under. Check out that video at the end of the month. But the next one will be the paycheck to paycheck video, and that is what I'm going to do now, is get that video and set that up for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Have an amazing and blessed day. Bye.